Hello and welcome back to Gardening and Allotment Tips. Well, it's been absolutely awful the last day or so with the weather, and there's plenty more stormy weather to come at Friday from Storm Eugene, I think it is, or something like that. But Storm Dudley, yes, has been rampaging, and hopefully I'm going to be checking my shed later, and I'm hoping that it is still standing. It's just that feeling of not knowing if it's still standing or not, and what I will go to the allotment and see when I get there. But yeah, hopefully soon, after all these storms, we can soon start to look forward to spring. And in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about encouraging the bees into the garden, as bees are a vital role of an allotment garden. And to be honest, I saw my first bee the other last week, I think it was, and whether it had been hiding in my shed or whether it were just dozing around thinking it was spring when it's not, but I saw my first bee the other day, and hopefully it's gone back into hibernation because it's a bit too early for it to be coming out at the moment. But hopefully the bees will soon start to wake up, and we need to be encouraging them back into the gardens, because there's so many people that are just completely digging over the garden and covering them over with all this fake grass, fake plants, and yeah, they look absolutely beautiful and fantastic when they're lit up at night and everything like that, but they don't help the bees, and we need to start helping the bees more. Yes, if you want to have fake grass and fake plants, you still need to have some flowers in the garden to help the bees. If only every garden had flowers in it, just to help the bees. And the reason why we need to help the bees is because obviously they help us grow the produce. If we didn't have the bees, we'd be going around literally all day pollinating stuff ourselves by hand with a paintbrush, and that would definitely take the enjoyment out of gardening. It'd take forever to go around pollinating every blossom on the tree, or every raspberry flower, or going around all the courgettes and pollinating them yourself. So that is why we need to start encouraging the bees to the garden more. And we can all play our part in that, and you can be doing that by planting the flowers what the bees will like and what will attract them to your garden, because the more you attract the bees to the garden, they are closer to your fruit trees or to your vegetables, and they'll just jump from one flower to another flower. If you plant your flowers well away from your vegetables and stuff, they're not going to see the flowers from the vegetables, or they're going to have to fly a bit further to get to your vegetables. So if you put the flowers near your vegetables or your fruit, then you will get them closer and you'll encourage them more to pollinate. And that's what I do, because I've got all my fruit trees growing on my allotment, and I've got spring bulbs all around near the fruit trees and the raspberries, because I want to encourage more fruit to be produced on my plot. And last year was the biggest bumper crop of plums that I have ever grown on my plum tree, and it was phenomenal. The bags that I got from it and what I was sharing with the family, they were all absolutely loving them. And my plot neighbour, he kept coming on and grabbing a few. He told me that he'd been pinching some, and I didn't mind, as long as he was enjoying them and they didn't go to waste, because if they go to waste, the wasps will have them and eat them, and you won't be able to eat them yourself. So we need to get the bees back into the garden, and that goes for all wildlife, to be honest. And in another podcast we'll talk about butterflies, but today we're talking about the bees. And obviously you can encourage them by looking up what sort of flowers that attract the bees to the allotment, and stuff like lavender and all your spring bulbs, like I said, because the reason why we need the spring bulbs is they're the first flowers that the bees see when they wake up from hibernation, and they need to build that nectar back up in their systems to give them the strength to get going and get flying and creating those new nests. So yeah, we need to get them back in the gardens, and there's plenty of other flowers around that do help them as well, and it's a case of just looking them up really, because some are so easy to grow and then some are obviously more difficult than others. But then you've got your easy ones like your sunflowers. They absolutely love sunflowers, crawling in the flowers and in the pollen and stuff like that, and yeah, just landing on them, and they absolutely adore them. And one of the spring bulbs that I am growing, what they absolutely adore, is allium bulbs. Now alliums are part of the onion family, and they will grow a big purple flower on top of the bulb, and once it's out in flower, that flower will be swarming with bees. They absolutely love allium flowers. And the same goes for onion bulbs. If you don't fancy picking all your onions, let them go to flower, and they will produce a nice flower on top for the bees to enjoy and make use of them. Because you might not use all your onions, so give something back to the bees and grow. If they're all the small ones that haven't done well, let them go to flower and let the bees be attracted to them and enjoy them. So we need to do more for the bees, and that's why I encourage everybody who has allotments to plant some spring bulbs on their plot, and that's going to be my mission next year, is to get more and more people growing spring bulbs on their allotments. So come springtime, my Instagram grid will be absolutely full to busting with spring flower pictures, because I want to encourage other people to do it, and the only way you do that is by sharing lots and lots of pictures. So obviously it's too late now to plant your spring bulbs, so you won't be able to plant any more spring bulbs, but if you have a look in garden centres now, there's plenty of summer bulbs out there, and again the bees will love the summer bulbs as well, like your gladioli, your lilies and stuff like that. So go out there, go to the garden centre, get some summer bulbs, get them planted, and they will keep coming back year after year, and it's a well worth investment, because you're only having to plant them once and they'll keep coming back year after year, so you'll get some fantastic flowers from them. So I hope that you go out and buy some. I'll certainly be buying some. I planted loads of gladioli the other week, and again the bees will love them as well. So I'm trying to encourage them more and more. So yeah, let me know if you've listened to this podcast. Make sure you do click that subscribe button. There's quite a lot of people subscribing now, which is fantastic for this podcast. I can only see on Spotify subscribers, and I think 65 people have subscribed. So if you're not one of them, make sure you click that subscribe button. It's always good to see more and more subscribers. I can't see who's subscribed, I can only see the number. And leave a review as well. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave a written review on there, but if you're listening on Spotify, leave a star rating review. It does help it get seen more and more listens to it as well. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.